Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's great to have you with me today. Today is October 21st. Wow. It is, October is marching on, and we are approaching the holiday season. Whether we like it or not, I like it. I like it. I hope you do too. And glad to have you with me today. So again, this is Wondrous Roots, your health from the ground up. My name is Rebecca Becky Montrone. We have a business here in Keene, New Hampshire called Wondrous Roots. I am a holistic health practitioner with a degree in holistic nutrition and certified through the American Association of Drugless Practitioners, AADP. I'm also an herbalist and formulator and maker of many herbal medicine products. And going to be talking about one of the new ones in a little bit. I mentioned it last week. So in any case, I'm excited to have you with me today. We are located in Keene, New Hampshire. New Hampshire is in New England. And I just say that kind of laughingly because sometimes when you're in different parts of the country, you'll get asked where that is. Where is New Hampshire? We're a small state, but we have everything there is to offer when it comes to wonderful, wondrous living. Anyway, we're downtown on Roxbury Street off Central Square. We are in an old building called the Miller Forge Building, an old mill building that's been restored, really kept up beautifully. And we are up on the third floor. We have plenty of free parking. We have ample complete access for handicap people, wheelchairs, whatever. And our open door hours are 9:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. You're welcome to pop up. Our door is literally open. As soon as you get off the elevator or the stairwell, you'll just see our door open and come on in. We have a lot of things. We'd love to meet you if you've never been up before, and we would love to introduce ourselves, get to know you, and also we have a lot of products you can peruse and for health. A lot of things that we make. But then in addition, a lot of other nutritional supplements, things that if you've known me for any time at all, that I use regularly with many people. And so anyway, you can also check out all of that on wondrousroots.org, and you can look at all of the products and things that we carry at shopwondrousroots.com. I think the number here is 603-439-2603. You can also reach out to me personally if you go to wondrousroots.org. Contact us. Those messages come to my private email right here. I'm the only one who sees and responds to those. So please feel free to do that. Okay. I think I have my intro down. Now, for those of you who are here, and it's great to have my friends, to see you all here. Again, if you want to contribute to the conversation, you can raise your hand. I call on you. You can speak. If you want to speak communicate without speaking, you can go to the chat, click on chat, and you'll be able to type in there, and then I will also be able to type back, or I would probably comment on whatever you said here. And then Q&A, you can go to the Q&A. You can see all of those things along at the bottom. I will also say I have my screen sort of split. So my email is open. And if you want to, if it's just easier for you to pop me something in an email, I will see that up here. Got it? All right, so let's go. This is an exciting program. I'm super excited. I'm learning so many cool things, and it's really quite, I'm going to put my little picture frame on, a little ambiance. Yeah, let me get this out of the way. I kind of like that, to see the pictures rotating in the background. So I learn so much, and I learn a lot from you. From working with you, but from things that you know and you learn and you tell me about. And so some really cool new things I've learned in the last 7 months or so. Methylene blue, if you remember my big excitement about that, methylene blue. And then indium. And then, and now I think, well, last week I talked about papaya. I'm going to say something about that too. Remember, for those of you who were here and those of you who have seen it on YouTube, I talked about papaya and how I was going to add it to all these things, right? And then we got to that part where it talked about too much papaya leaf can cause a problem if you're trying to get pregnant, can cause a problem if you are pregnant. So I'm not adding it to all those things. I'm not going to add it to any tea. I'm not going to add it to my digestive formula, my Eater's Digest tincture formula. I'm going to provide it as a single extract if you want to use it for whatever reason, right? Because you know that you don't fall into those categories. And I will provide a separate papaya leaf tea for those who want to do that. But I'm not going to put papaya in all these other things that now people have to be worried about, right? Makes sense, right? So that was a good idea. But yeah, papaya that was really cool. Now, today I'm going to be talking about Lu Rong, known as Lu Rong. It's a deer antler velvet, and its properties that are so contributory to our health. And then we've talked about mushrooms many times, medicinal mushrooms, and how wonderful mushrooms are for our health. I've had Justin Garner was on with me on the radio many times. I've got to have him back on a Zoom. It's been years. We kind of lost each other during the whole COVID time. But he also is he's not also, because I'm not an expert on mushrooms. He is an expert on mushrooms. So anyway, and we've talked about that, and we sell extracts here from Catskill Farms. I think it's called Catskill. I know it's Catskill, but I think it's Farms. But anyway, they're mushroom extracts. We have a few of those here: the chaga, the lion's mane, and the reishi. So I've been for a long time all about the medicinal value of mushrooms. But I read something in Life Extension magazine a week or maybe about 10 days ago on it was like a week ago this past Friday, when I was actually getting my hair colored. So you have to sit there, and wait for these highlights to, highlight. And so I took with me one of the latest, I think it was the latest issue of Life Extension magazine, and learned about ergothionine and ergothionine. So anyway, I'm going to read my little intro here on the newsletter. Let me say about the newsletters. Now, when I'm putting these together, I test them. I send myself a test one to make sure the whole thing appears, right? And it doesn't chop it off and then say, click here down at this little tiny print at the bottom to see the whole thing. And up until my last test, it didn't do that until I sent it out, and then it did. So just a reminder, if you obviously got my newsletter, if you're on here, and those listening, you can access my newsletters later if you don't have your own. And if you do it that way, it doesn't matter, because you'll be getting it from the web directly. But if you get it in your email and it just doesn't seem to end with my want to get to the root of your health problem down at the bottom and a picture of Wondrous Roots, click on just to see the whole thing. Okay, just a little technical thing there. I also want to say, on occasion, when I have been doing a Zoom meeting with a client, and it's not that infrequent, I lose internet for whatever reason, I'm not sure, but it's never happened when I'm doing this, and let's just pray it doesn't. If it does, I think I can restart it up, I'm not sure, and then the same link would work. That always does. So that's just another little, cover my, what. Okay. Working with a client recently surrounding some of the issues that can present with perimenopause and menopause. And I kind of want to just say from the get-go, that's not what all that Lu Rong is all about, not by a long shot. So I hoped, when I was thinking about that afterwards, I hoped people weren't thinking, oh, this is just something for menopause. It is absolutely not. It's wonderful. Traditional Chinese medicine for a bazillion things. She mentioned that years ago, her mother found that the use of the traditional Chinese medicine Lu Rong was very effective for the arthritis that seemed to appear at the same time as menopause. I've heard that complaint from other people. It's like all of a sudden they never had arthritis. They never had that issue until they reached that changing time of life. So then from my client's email, and this was just, again, not this past week, but the week before, I just asked mom, her mom was visiting, and she said that she's been taking it for 8 or 9 years. At one point, she decided it was expensive and took a break from it. The arthritis pain in her fingers returned immediately. She currently takes 2 capsules one day and 1 capsule the next day, and so on. That seems to eliminate her symptoms and help her budget a bit. And I will say, everybody's budget is different, but a 23-day supply of that, taking 2 a day, is $29. So just in case you're wondering if this is like another, really expensive supplement, such as many of you would mention glutathione. So I was immediately intrigued because I remembered that around 2006, I did some research into the health promoting properties of deer antler velvet and was quite intrigued. I can still remember doing it. And that was when I was first starting this practice. Then for no particular reason, like vitamin C, it just sort of fell off my radar. So it's back on the radar. Then a constituent found in mushrooms called L-ergothionine. L-ergothionine. What it is, what it does, how to take advantage of it in your diet and supplement regimen. Actually quite amazing. And another potent thiol. So I've talked about this, think thiol, right? Glutathione. And when I have people in my clients in my office, or when I'm with them on a teleconference or whatever, I will point out that whenever you see thio in science, it means sulfur. Another of my favorite topics. So you've hit the glutathione girl is already off to a good start. And sulfur. Talked about sulfur. I use, and a lot of you are using MSM, methylsulfonyl which is organic sulfur, and super important that we include in our diet. So I will say, so anyway, this is just a quote from, it was very interesting, going to PubMed on ergothionine. This has been in research for a long time, but in the years since, there's a graph in one of the things, and I'll show you which one it is, but in one of the links there, I've got tons of, I've peppered my newsletter today with so many links that would just keep you busy if you're interested, for sure. So anyway, what was I going to say? The number of studies done since, like, say, around 2011, I think, I'll have to look again, but to present time in the PubMed database are astounding. If you look in a graph, it just goes boing. And it is really hot topic in science right now. So just want to be able to introduce you to that. So anyway, let's go. Here we go. Lu Rong, deer antler velvet. So deer antler velvet supplements are made from the tissues which surround the cartilage and bones inside the antler tip of certain species of live deer. The tissue is harvested before the antlers have matured fully and hardened. After being harvested, the tissue is frozen and used to make supplements, including capsules, powdered extract, and spray form. The animals are not killed or harmed during the extraction process. They are not at all. And there are very many of the deer that many of the antlers that are used in supplements today are from deer who are raised very wonderfully. New Zealand is a hot spot for that. And there are other places. China, don't think China because, it's China. Oh no, it's going to be terrible. That's where traditional Chinese medicine comes from. And if you've seen any photos, or if you've ever had the privilege of visiting China, the land there is amazing. So and the deer antler are the deer antler quality and everything is very tightly controlled by different agencies. So you don't need to be worried about that. In fact, in the newsletter, there's about a 10-minute video there, a YouTube video that I included, how deer antler velvet is processed. Very fascinating and beautiful pictures of deer and being raised here and eating the grass and the things that they eat from the trees and whatnot that are on this pristine New Zealand land. So anyway, it's just, I don't know, fascinating. If you're interested in this kind of thing, but of course, if you weren't, you wouldn't even be listening. So I'm kind of like preaching to the choir whenever I do this, aren't I? All right. So, all right. So I am going to read you, I know I read, but it's just better than saying, why don't you go ahead and read this, right? Because then now you have to go do it. So if I read it to you, then you've done that. And so in a sense, I'm doing you a favor. The primary usage, this is from the company. So what I did was when my client told me about this, she gave me this information. And I went to the company, which is a very, very wonderful company. I was to find out Supreme Nutrition Products. These are people who are working with traditional Chinese medicine, a lot of things that are used with acupuncture, et cetera, et cetera. And I got in touch with them and they were willing to work with me on being able to get this to my clients in my shop and on my online store, et cetera. Very, very impressed with their integrity. And in any case, so this is from their information on this, and you can also see this on my website where I've cut and pasted it. And it's in the Learn More on the newsletter. Okay. Primary usage, musculoskeletal support, mood enhancer, arthritis, nerve growth factors, athletic performance, immune support. Now, right there, we see so much encompassed just in those bullet points, don't we? So they say, we suggest Lu Rong for any case of physical trauma, car accidents, athletic injury, anyone wanting to increase endurance and athletic performance, inflammatory conditions, arthritis and cartilage degeneration, osteoporosis, osteopenia, nerve degeneration, sexual dysfunction, and most people interested in slowing the degree of onset of aging. Well, who isn't in that category? We look at it as a whole food. Back before hybridization, when people ate whole foods, many of them wild, including animals in some cases, there were small amounts of natural hormones and cofactors in the daily diet. We look at Lu Rong as restoring that part of the diet. Very interesting when you watch that video about how that I just told you about, it's about 10 minutes long. You get to the end and the deer antler is now being brought into a clinic in Korea. And it's very fascinating to see how the Korean traditional Chinese medicine practitioners, and I think Korea is the country that uses more of this than any other country I read. They slice it. And so they showed like a waiting room of people sitting there waiting to see their traditional Chinese medicine doctor. And the doctor like putting like a big paper down and putting different herbs and things and slices of Lu Rong, slices of deer antler velvet. And then the patient takes those and follows the instructions. So very, very, very interesting. All right. Lu Rong is composed of deer or elk antler. The company that I'm talking about that wrote this, they go on to say, our selection of which batch and supplier to use depends on our testing, both with applied kinesiology as well as clinical testing on patients. This type of testing eliminates over 90% of the products we consider adding to the Supreme Nutrition Products line, as we only want to offer products that both test and perform optimally. It is then encapsulated with nothing else added. It is harvested without harm to the animal and is a whole food product rich in minerals as well as many other phytonutrients. It has been used in Oriental medicine for over 2,000 years. Applications appear to be as follows. And it says 1, it contains chondroitin sulfate as well as glucosamine sulfate and hyaluronic acid. Unlike isolated extracts of those 3 substances, which we easily find all the time in nutritional supplements, it has the necessary cofactors, the fibroblasts, chondroblasts, and more, to optimize repair of cartilage and connective tissue. It is also not derived from shellfish, as many of these products are, which has the possibility of heavy metal and other contamination. Most of the collagen in Lu Rong is type 2. Type 2 production is usually diminished in both osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis, and supplementation has been shown to increase strength as well as decrease inflammation, pain, swelling, and stiffness. It also can be useful in decreasing the autoimmune reaction. This is why I think this is just so huge in these types of degenerative processes. Lu Rong, as a result, can be thought of as being chondroprotective, okay, so for all of your cartilage and your connective tissue, and possibly restorative too. It should be tested on all arthritics and anyone with a family history of arthritis. And I will tell you that my client, whose mother was the one who used this for her arthritis, severe arthritis in her family members too, so this was not an unexpected thing, did say it took some time for it to kick in. So that's an important thing to know. If you're using this, don't be like, oh my goodness, I've been taking this for a week and my arthritis doesn't feel any different. Hang with those things for some time. Let them make the changes, right? Let them have time to make the changes in the body that now will bear fruit in you feeling so much better. Okay. Lu Rong may have a small amount of insulin growth factor 1, or IGF-1. IGF-1 encourages absorption of glucosamine and chondroitin. Research suggests IGF-1 may also help prevent osteoporosis and improve muscular development. It also promotes bone growth. So this is really key. The way modern medicine today looks at bone density problems, osteopenia, osteoporosis, is by over-hardening the bone, not nourishing the bones to be the density they're supposed to be. And they're not supposed to be super hard. I won't go all into that right now. But also helping with the bone growth. So the osteoblasts and the osteoclasts, stopping bone from degrading and then forming new bone. And this is really wonderful. Also, we're going to see here, they'll talk about the calcium hydroxyapatite, and I'll talk about I'll do a little digress on that one too. But it says IGF-1 may also help prevent osteoporosis and improve muscular development. It also promotes bone growth. To quote Wikipedia, IGF-1 is one of the most potent natural activators of the AKT signaling pathway, a stimulator of cell growth and multiplication, and a potent inhibitor of programmed cell death. Almost every cell in the human body is affected by IGF-1, especially cells in muscle, cartilage, bone, liver, kidney, nerves, skin, and lungs. In addition to the insulin-like effects, IGF-1 can also regulate cell growth and development, especially in nerve cells, as well as cellular DNA synthesis. Unquote. That was that quote from Wikipedia on IGF-1. IGF production is stimulated by human growth hormone, which decreases as we age, and thus we also end up with IGF-1 deficiency. Taking Lu Rong may help correct that deficiency. 3, Lu Rong may also have other growth factors, including a nerve growth factor and epidermal growth factors. So I think that that's important. We're talking about the nerves here, and a lot of people who have, I had one of my clients popped in yesterday to just replenish some supplies, and I was like, oh, come in here for a minute. told him all about this because he's got this whole ball of wax. He has muscle atrophy. He's a big guy, and he does work up on ladders. I don't know how he does it. He's in constant pain. But one of his problems is muscle atrophy, especially in the upper thighs. Well, of course, you know, the quads, right? They are like so darned important for strength, just to be able to do things. We're supposed to use our legs, our quads to lift, to, you know, for support for everything we do, even if we're like working with our arms. Also, a terrible, especially at night, his right leg will twitch and be very painful. He found using indium, he told me yesterday, since he's used indium, he's been able to get off gabapentin, which he's been on for years. And he's just using a muscle relaxant at night to quiet that down. But I just think because of, you know, when we think about the nerves and the nervous system and all of that conduction, a lot of people have neuropathy. Also think about the brain. So anyway, so got him started on this. I'm just really praying that really makes a nice difference for him. Lu Rong 4 is the source of gangliosides. Gangliosides provide cells with distinguishing surface markers that can serve in cellular recognition and cell-to-cell communication. This may also protect against neurodegenerative diseases. 5, Lu Rong is a source of anti-inflammatory prostaglandins, not just the precursors, and can be helpful in all inflammatory conditions, including headache prevention and treatment. 6, Lu Rong is a natural source of pantocrine. According to Russian and New Zealand research, pantocrine increases athletic performance, including increased speed and increased strength, as well as speeding recovery from intense physical activity. Pantocrine has also been shown in animal studies to hasten recovery from whiplash injuries. It also helps with lactic acid removal from muscles after exertion, something we see also with indium, and helps speed recovery of injured muscles, muscle tissue, and nerve tissue. 7, studies have suggested it has a rejuvenating effect and is anabolic in the sense that it helps burn fat and builds muscle tissue. 8, other studies suggest that Lu Rong may increase testosterone production, leading to an increase of lean body mass and also an increase in endurance. As a result, it has traditionally been used to increase libido in men and women, to help erectile dysfunction, decreasing pre- and post-menopausal symptoms, and increasing fertility. So all ends of the spectrum here. Lu Rong may contain small amounts of testosterone, estrone, luteinizing hormone, and another hormone similar to progesterone. 9, Lu Rong is an immune stimulant and is reported to increase the effectiveness of chemotherapy drugs, as well as reducing kidney damage from chemotherapy. So a great add-on to a cancer protocol, if you will. In Korea, number 10, it is used during the last trimester of pregnancy to enhance the chances of smooth and easy delivery. It can also help lactation. It has also been used traditionally to increase growth in children and help in babies with delayed walking. There are no known contraindications during pregnancy or lactation. That's fantastic. And so interesting that it can be helpful to young babies, children and babies with muscular issues. 11, studies in Korea show that it can increase red blood cell protection when needed. Production, not protection, production when needed. So another plus for people who tend to be low in their platelets, tend to be low in their hematocrit, their hemoglobin. If you're getting lower readings there, we normally think of iron, right? But there's also other factors there. Studies in mice, and number 12, show Lu Rong can decrease senility and well, we don't want a senile mouse, no, do we? And increase free radical scavenging activity. 13, it can also it also can inhibit monoamine oxidase enzyme function and act as a mood enhancer. What other things have we talked about that do that? GH3. Remember Geravital GH3? Still love that stuff. What else does that? Methylene blue. I'm not sure. I've not seen MAO mentioned with indium, but indium is definitely a mood enhancer. But anyway, so MAO, monoamine oxidase, it's an enzyme that does some things that are good for our health, some things that are bad. We need things that regulate MAO, that are what we call reversible MAO inhibitors. Number 14, studies have suggested it can decrease, this is really cool, decrease arterial blood pressure in hypertensive people, I would say. We're not patients because we people, and also increase blood pressure in hypotensive people. Okay, blood pressure. Now we've got something that goes both ways. Isn't that great? Isn't that brilliant? Because, so many people are on blood pressure medications, and blood pressure guidelines have become skewed and lowered according to the industry. But to take your blood pressure and to help normalize it to what is appropriate for you. I think that that's wonderful. Now here we're talking about number 15, nutritionally, it's a rich source of calcium hydroxyapatite, as well as other macro minerals. Okay, so macro minerals, another big macro mineral is what? Magnesium, as well as trace minerals, selenium, chromium, molybdenum, zinc, copper, that kind of thing. And all essential amino acids. So that's your proteins. Now, if you've paid attention to me in the past, I'm not a fan of high doses of calcium salts, calcium supplements for bone health. Calcium hydroxyapatite is one form that I do approve of. Calcium hydroxy, and this would not be high dose, right? This wouldn't be 1,200 milligrams a day of calcium that you're just dumping into your system. Calcium hydroxyapatite is actually the content of bone. So it's not just calcium. It's all of the things that are in bone. That's when you see calcium hydroxyapatite supplements, that's what that is. And so that's great, right? Because that's the whole deal. That's everything the way it was created by our creator. It's everything, the whole thing, instead of isolating something out and saying, oh, let's just dump that in. So you've got here, that means you're going to have, the magnesium is part of bone, phosphorus is part of bone, calcium is part of bone, and then whatever other things are in there. And so that's really good. Then they go on and talk about a book called The Remarkable Healing Power of Velvet Antler. There's a link to that book in my newsletter, and I have ordered myself a copy. And I'm really anxious to learn, it's not anxious. I'm very eager to learn more. Here they go on to say, as far as applied kinesiology findings, and a lot of you are familiar with kinesiology. My colleague, Jean Clerkin, Dr. Jean Clerkin, chiropractor at Monadnock Natural Health, uses kinesiology all the time. I'm not skilled in kinesiology and I don't do that, but kinesiology is used in traditional Chinese medicine to test for vitality and quality and strength and a lot of different things. But anyway, I say that to preface this. As far as applied kinesiology findings and personal clinical observations, I have found the following. The writer of this, it is not unusual for Lu Rong to block weakening responses to microcomposite vials. Okay, it means it's immune enhancing. So they have these vials and then they take the substance and again, it's beyond me, but positive endocrine NLs and occasionally metals. It is not as strong in those areas as our other products, but it is very health supporting in many ways. We used it to successfully treat a positive response to the parasite composites in a pregnant woman. Other patients have reported sounder sleep, increased libido, and decreased headaches. Because it is a food, it may take a while to build up in some patients to feel the changes, while others may feel the difference quickly. Again, just a caution about not being impatient with that. Again, to summarize the main indications, I would suggest Lu Rong for any case of physical trauma. Okay, we talked about that. So yeah, there we go. They say most Lu Rong on the market comes in 250 to 500 milligrams per cap with fillers added. Our caps have no fillers added, and as a rule is priced much lower and is of the highest quality. Our material is typically harvested at a later stage than much of the Lu Rong on the market. We have found that it actually tests better in this stage and performs better and allows us to keep the cost down. It says recommended dosage 2 caps daily is a therapeutic dose for the glucosamine chondroitin, etc., or 1 cap a day for the other effects. For small children, you would adjust the dose appropriately. Very, very exciting. Okay, so I think, gosh, that's probably all the time I'm going to spend on, well, maybe I will go to this other link there from Mother Earth Living. Just kind of 100 humans and humans and the European red deer have had a long relationship, sometimes mutually beneficial, sometimes stormy. For now, it looks as if the 2,000-year saga has a happy ending for both, and humans may get a potent medicine out of the deal. In New England in the early 1970s, the deer population explosion threatened to become an environmental disaster. Then, inspired by successful deer farming in Scotland, New Zealanders began a conscious effort to domesticate the deer. Now, instead of ravaging native vegetation, the red deer plays a starring role in an agricultural success story. Of the many products that the deer provide, one of the most exciting and least traumatic to the deer is a natural medicine called velvet antler, also called Pilose deer antler, Pilose. I don't think that's pronounced Pelosi. Chuckle, chuckle. Deer antler. For thousands of years, the Chinese and other Asians have used velvet antler in a variety of ways, ranging from restorative tonics to tumor treatments. Most recently, research has been conducted on the chemistry, pharmacology, and use of velvet antler extracts in Korea, China, and Russia. Although widely accepted in traditional Asian medical systems, velvet antler has only recently attracted the attention of the West. More chemical, pharmacological, and clinical studies will be needed to ferret out its true benefits as a dietary supplement. In the meantime, you will find velvet antler products sitting on the shelf next to echinacea and other immune system stimulants and tonic herbs at your local health food store. And you can read more about that there. But here we go. This is just a little bit. For the Korean market, the antler is often thinly sliced. As I was saying, the quality is then determined by Korean buyers or practitioners based on color, translucence, and other visual factors. Anyway, I wanted to go to the part where, why did it jump? It jumped and blocked something. Regenerates itself each year, but see, there's something that says before that, there's something in the way, like an ad or something. Okay. At the velvet stage, the antler grows at a tremendous rate, up to 1 inch a day. The velvet is a virtual chemical factory containing calcium phosphate, calcium carbonate, proteins, collagen, trace amounts of androgens and estrogens, more than 20 different amino acids, chondroitin A sulfate, a lubricant found in joints and believed to have anti-inflammatory activity, L-lysophosphatidylcholine, which may be in part responsible for deer antlers' attributed effects on blood pressure, gangliosides, which have been associated with increased learning and memory function, various growth factors, which are probably responsible for increasing growth in the antler. No single compound or even group of compounds has been identified that could be responsible for the broad range of activity attributed to velvet antler. Scientists hope to one day understand the chemical mechanisms that spur the antler's growth. This could lead to a breakthrough in understanding how to regenerate tissue, even how to recreate organs in humans. Anyway, we've talked about the health benefits. So, and you can read more about that there. I also have Okay, I just lost my place. I think we're good. Nobody has their hand raised or wants to talk or anything, right? You guys are out there. I see you, but if you want to pipe up, go ahead. Now let's get to the ergothionine, because this is really cool. And I downloaded the book that I have there for you to click on. Is the only thing they have is a Kindle version. They don't have like a printed version or anything. So I can't wait to dig into that one. Anyway, let's go. Ergothionine, a sulfur-containing amino acid found in mushrooms, is a powerhouse when it comes to promoting longevity. Here we go again, right? Wondrous roots. All these things, you can tell this is my approach. This is where I am. It's all about the things that nourish the roots so that all of the branches flourish. And I just think it's great that there are so many terrific things we can take advantage of if we just know, right? So that's my part. My part is helping us know, and you're helping me know. But yeah, as I've said before, we learn together. Ergothionine, okay, out of 112 measured plasma metabolites, ergothionine is the metabolite most significantly associated with lower morbidity and mortality, being associated with a lower risk of coronary artery disease, stroke, and death of all causes. Wow. In 2005, scientists discovered that most human tissues have a highly specific carnitine-based transporter for ergothionine, which suggests humans are designed to eat and reap specific benefits from mushrooms. Ergothionine has antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-mutagenic, right? So becoming cancerous, and cytoprotectant, cell protectant, again, anti-cancer properties. And research shows depletion of ergothionine leads to higher oxidative stress and cell death. Mushrooms that contain ergothionine include pine mushrooms, oyster mushrooms, shiitake, king boletes, or boletes, I don't know, porcinis, chanterelles, lion's mane, and enokitake, just to name a few. Porcini, shiitake, oyster, maitake, and king oyster typically contain the highest amounts. Yeah, you'll find, I found different listings, right? And some said lion's mane was lion's mane and oyster. Then somebody said, no, porcini is the highest. Maitake was always right up there. Some say button mushrooms, not so much, but I found you'll see stuff there that say button mushrooms are pretty good. And I will say the ergothionine supplement that I carry, I've been using for the last week myself, is 5 milligrams, which you're supposed to take 5 milligrams a day. And that is equivalent to the ergothionine found in, I think, 2 to 4, or 3 to 5, whatever, cups of mushrooms daily. So a really good way, and it's not an expensive supplement, a really good way to just make sure you're getting it right. So where do I want to go first? Let's go to, let's see, my learn more. Which one did I choose for that? Yeah, this was from Mercola, who actually was the one who wrote the article in the Life Extension magazine, Joseph Mercola. So we use him a lot. Ergothionine, a sulfur-containing amino acid found in mushrooms, is a powerhouse when it comes to promoting longevity. Blah, 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 blah. I already said all that. Okay. We were made to eat mushrooms. Longevity vitamin. Ergothionine also has anti-inflammatory, anti-mutant. Okay, we already said that. As such, the author suggested it might represent a new vitamin. However, as explained by Greger, vitamins are classified as such by the manifestation of overt dietary deficiency diseases, and no such diseases have been identified for ergothionine. But I beg to differ on that, because when I was looking in the PubMed stuff, I do believe it has received status as a vitamin and is now being looked at more. Let me, where did I find that one? Oh, gosh. The recent developments. This is the one, ergothionine recent developments. So this is, yeah, that just goes to show, yeah, 2011 to present. Okay. In 1905, there was like under 25 publications on this. 2001 to 2010, then, kind of up and down, but low. 2010, 2001 to 2010 hit a pinnacle at maybe 75, maybe 80 number of publications on PubMed. And now between 2011 to present, we are at 325 publications in PubMed on ergothionine. So anyway, that is not the one that says it talks like it's like been classified as a vitamin. It's in there somewhere. All right, that's going to be the contest. Who can find and tell me which one it is the fastest? Okay, and of course not right now. You're going to have to go home and do your homework. All right. Okay, this one I really liked because I'm the glutathione girl, and I told you earlier on ergothionine and glutathione. Maybe it's called thionine. I don't know. Probably ergothionine. I bet you it is ergothionine. I think I'm going to call it that from now on. I should just look up pronunciation. It says, while mushrooms, this is a rich source of the antioxidants ergothionine and glutathione. While mushrooms are the highest dietary source for the unique sulfur-containing antioxidant ergothionine, little is known regarding levels of the major biological antioxidant glutathione. Thus, our objectives were to determine and compare levels of glutathione as well as ergothionine in different species of mushrooms. So they went on, they talked about the different ones. Anyway, they go, this study demonstrated that certain mushroom species are high in glutathione and ergothionine and should be considered as excellent dietary sources of these important mushrooms. And they talked about Pileus and Agaricus bisporus. I'm not sure what those are. That's another homework item. Okay. Ergothionine and mushrooms, the ultimate guide. This is a really nice page. It kind of tells you what it is, antioxidant properties. As an antioxidant, ergothionine plays a crucial role in neutralizing free radicals, reducing cellular damage, scavenges these harmful molecules, preventing them from causing oxidative stress. By doing so, the substance helps maintain the integrity of our cells and promotes overall health and longevity. Anti-inflammatory, also possesses anti-inflammatory effects. Okay, so does glutathione. Heart disease, diabetes, certain types of cancers. Cellular protection. L-ergothionine has been found to accumulate in various tissues and organs, including the liver, kidneys, and bone marrow. These accumulations suggest that the compound plays a vital role in protecting these tissues from oxidative damage. So several clients who kind of fall into there. I have a guy in late stage chronic kidney disease, kidney failure. He's definitely taking glutathione and sulforaphane, rich sources of thiols. But again, not always something to think of. I have a young boy coming to see me for the first time with a very rare and difficult kidney problem. Again, this would be something to help. I don't know how much, but it's good to know things. They don't want to get him back on the immunosuppressive drugs and things like that. What can I possibly offer to support? So definitely glutathione, definitely Moducare. Certainly, I would be recommending this as well. Cognitive functions. Emerging research suggests that ergothionine may play a crucial role in supporting brain health and cognitive function. We need this today, folks. I mean, we are in epidemic territory when it comes to dementias of all kinds, and really heartbreaking. Again, if we're so far advanced, we pour all this money into health research and everything, we're so advanced. What the heck is going on? That our health as a population is just getting worse and worse and worse on the whole. Not yours and mine, on the whole. Okay. As a powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory agent, ergothionine may help protect the brain from these detrimental effects, promoting optimal cognitive function. And I'm going to go, the immune system, a robust immune system, bolstering the immune response. Ergothionine may help the body effectively combat pathogens and maintain optimum immune health. So I'm going to jump around. I'm going to jump over now to, isn't this interesting with regard to COVID, coronavirus patients? And this is out of the medical journal Antioxidants, published in PubMed. Could ergothionine aid in the treatment of coronavirus patients? Infection with SARS-CoV-2 causes the coronavirus infectious disease, COVID-19, a pandemic that has at present affected blah, 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 blah. Numerous studies have established the unique array of cytoprotective properties of the dietary amino acid ergothionine. Based on the studies and a range of in vitro and in vivo models, so test tube and in people, or animals at least, ergothionine has exhibited the ability to modulate inflammation, scavenge free radicals, protect against acute respiratory distress syndrome, prevent endothelial dysfunction, protect against ischemia and reperfusion injury, protect against neuronal damage, counteract iron dysregulation, hinder lung and liver fibrosis, and mitigate damage to the lungs, kidneys, liver, gastrointestinal tract, and testes, among other things. When compiled, this evidence suggests that ergothionine has a potential application in the treatment of the underlying pathology of COVID-19. We propose that ergothionine could be used as a therapeutic to reduce the severity and mortality of COVID-19, especially in the elderly and those with underlying health conditions. This review presents evidence to support that proposal, and you can see that review. And there, I think I just have the abstract there. But then there's another one. Here's this one, and this is from from one of the Wiley journals, PMC COVID-19 collection. So these are studies. These are published studies, right? This is not somebody's blog. This isn't somebody who wrote this or some who they would like to say some nutcase, renegade doctor or whatever said this. This is compelling and it's solid. It's information that would have to be respected by everyone, really. Can medicinal mushrooms have prophylactic, preventive, or therapeutic effect against COVID-19 and its mnemonic superinfection and complicating inflammation, right? So many of you know people who contracted COVID and ended up with this pneumonia. That really was what was really complicating in a bad way. Medicinal mushrooms have documented effects against different diseases, including infections and inflammatory disorders. The related blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. These are from, Graphola frondosa. These are different mushrooms, but I can't tell you that Hyrium iranicus. Oh, that's lion's mane. Graphola frondosa, nope, that's not reishi. And I'm not sure what Bob Dismidicata is, but anyway, whatever, have shown to exert antimicrobial activity against viral agents, gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, and parasites in vivo and in vitro and in vivo, test tube and mammalian. Since the mechanism is immunomodulatory and not antibiotical, right? It's working with the immune system, modulating the immune system, wahoo. The mushrooms should be active against multi-drug resistant microbes as well. Moreover, since these mushrooms also have anti-inflammatory properties, they may be suited for treatment of the severe lung inflammation that often follows COVID-19 infection. And ABM-based mushroom extract andosan, also containing HE and GF, that's the Hiricum, those other two, those containing all three of those mushrooms, right, have been shown to significantly reduce bacteremia and increase survival in mice with pneumococcal sepsis, and to improve symptoms and quality of life in IBD patients via an anti-inflammatory effect. Hence, since mushrooms serve extracts could have prophylactic or therapeutic effect against the pneumonic superinfection and severe lung inflammation that often complements COVID-19 infection. Hence, such mushrooms, not since, such mushrooms. I was waiting for them to say something else. I felt like the Wizard of Oz there for a second. I know we will. Okay. Here we review antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties of these mushrooms, which could be used for the battle against COVID-19. It doesn't say anything about ergothionine there, but I think following up on that last one that we just did about ergothionine, and we know that glutathione shuts off the cytokine storm, and that's involved in the COVID-19. I love the fact that we're talking about this as prophylactic, right? Because it's great to have something that once you have an illness can be very therapeutic. I mean, that's super important. But how about just like good for your overall wellness and just prevent while getting all these other benefits? That is the approach I love best. Now, talking about decline of ergothionine in frailty and cognition impairment. We're talking a little bit, like briefly touched on Alzheimer's, but it kind of was like, okay, it's got high in antioxidants, it's anti-inflammatory. So, that would indicate that it probably would have an effect on cognition and dementia. No, this is much stronger language here. And this is another journal in the European, anyway, I don't know what FEBS letter is, FEBS letter, but it's a medical journal. And it is in the PubMed database. Decline of ergothionine in frailty and cognition impairment. Ergothionine is a well-known antioxidant that is abundant in both human red blood cells and in fission yeast responding to nutritional stress. In frail elderly people whose aging organs undergo functional decline, there is a correlation between ergothionine levels and cognitive, but not skeletal muscle decline. In patients suffering from dementia, including Alzheimer's disease with hippocampal atrophy, that hippocampus, right, becomes atrophied, deteriorating cognitive ability is correlated with declining ergothionine levels. S-methyl ergothionine, trimethylhistidine, and 3 other trimethylammonium compounds also decrease sharply in dementia, whereas compounds such as indoxyl sulfate and quinolinic acid increase, possibly exacerbating the disease. Using these opposing dementia markers, not only diagnosis, but also therapeutic interventions to mitigate cognitive decline may now become possible. Diagnostic, right? Because, okay, what are your ergothionine levels? And they mentioned a couple of others too. The S-methyl ergothionine, the trimethylhistidine and the trimethylammonium. What are those levels? What can we see what's going on? But also, let's put them back. Let's put that back exogenously from the outside in. This is exciting. This is exciting, and this is not stuff you're going to hear on your see on your TV. It's definitely not going to be in any of those ads for the latest and greatest drugs for these chronic conditions people have had forever. You're not going to see this kind of information, and no, it's there. That, if I do nothing else, just to stimulate our excitement, mine and yours both, to understand how much power we have if we know how to do it. And it just doesn't get more exciting than that. Ergothionine in the brain, again, another one there. Again, it says here, in vitro observations suggest that they're calling it ergothionine, brain function through its oxidative activity and by promoting neurogenesis and neuronal maturation. Okay, so again, nerve generation. We just talked about that with Lu Rong, one of the big benefits there. This is so exciting. I can't stand it. So anyway, we're running out of time. There's a lot more there. Telomere shortening. Okay, that's a big thing. Fasting, one of the things it does. So the telomeres of our DNA, right? The shorter they get, the less long we have to live. So certain things prevent telomeres from shortening too quickly. And ergothionine is one of them. Varieties of mushrooms and their ergothionine content. We have the Lu Rong Supreme, we have the L-ergothionine, Life Extensions Essential Youth Form, L-ergothionine, and mushroom extracts. And then 10 oyster mushroom recipes you have to try. I always have to put recipes in there. That's a must. And then links there to Digging Deeper, The Remarkable Healing of Velvet Antler, and the anti-aging, anti-inflammatory, and longevity promoting vitamin ergothionine. And I promise you, I read that ergothionine has been designated a vitamin. I'll find that. I'll come back next time. This is the base oil for the new Fig Plus cream. Kathy, I know you're out there. You're going to be my first. I'll send you a gift jar to try. And this will be added a few other things to make it into a cream, so it's not greasy on your skin. But this is really awesome medicine for people with skin irritated, rashes, itchy things, contact dermatitis, eczema, psoriasis. We're going to test it out on some of you and see how it goes. Anyway, I want to thank you for being with me today, everybody. I hope you have a great, wonderful weekend. We'll be back next week. I'm not sure what I'm talking about. I thought I might, so we got to do our tribute to Pink Month, to actually the anti-pink propaganda surrounding breast cancer. I might do that, but I'm a little weary of that. Maybe I'll do a little bit of that, but I might hop on something more exciting to me, at least. So in any case, thank you again, and be well, go to health.